Welcome to the Dental Billing Academy podcast, powered by eAssist Dental Solutions. Hey, dental billers. We have another amazing episode. I know I say that every time, but seriously, every single episode of this podcast, truly feel has been amazing. But today we have Allison. Is that right?
Puppy.
Puppy. I knew I was going to say it wrong. And I'm in Kentucky. We say a lot of things wrong, but Allison Puppy, here to discuss something that I think a lot of dental billers right now have questions about. She said she gets a lot of questions about. So she wanted to do this podcast episode with me so that she can basically educate as many dental billers about this subject all at one time as possible. And it is working with a third party outsourcing company. So, obviously we will stay well into the dental billing realm, but this will also apply to companies that are doing insurance verification or calling your patients or there's lots of things you can outsource, all kinds of things now. So any of these third party remote outsourcing companies, all of the wisdom that Allison is getting ready to dump on you can be applied to that. But we are going to specifically stick with a dental billing third party companies. So hi, Allison.
Hi. So excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. So let's first start off with you, and I would love for you to just tell us all about your career in the dental field, because I know from previous conversations that I've had with you that it is a little bit interesting and different. So I'd love for everybody to hear it.
Mhm. So I would agree with all of that. I have been in the dental industry just about 3 years. So next month is 3 years. So that is not very long. Most of the people I feel like are doing these podcasts that I have the pleasure to work with have been in the dental industry, forever. And so my story is a little different. I have a billing, not a billing. I have a business degree. After college, I ended up working in the ski industry for many years. But doing, even though different industry, similar type work, I was doing, logistics, very detail oriented, for very large, like wholesale accounts. I was doing AR, I was doing billing. And, for me, I was definitely searching for something new. And what drew me to the practice I'm still with, honestly, was the incredible core values that just, I had never seen anything like that in my life. We have 7 core values that just resonate so strongly with me. And honestly, I'd say everyone on our team, and that's what I think makes our team so special, and just the group of women. I just wanted to be a part of that team so bad. So I started with them, doing insurance and billing, knowing nothing about the dental field. I really didn't know what I was getting into. Um, and there was a big learning curve for sure, just as far as learning the dental part of it. But in 3 years, I have grown so much. I'm so grateful just to my team, to Dr. Casmel, who I work for, who truly just creates this environment that just, fosters growth and is so supportive to any kind of direction you want to do. And if you want to grow in an area, it is supported. Um, so that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I don't know if there were any specifics, but and here I am.
Well, and I know Dr. Casmel that you work for is just, if I can brag on her for just a second, because I truly feel like you as your first job in the dental field, just got the most amazing boss mentor that you could possibly have in your area. Because
I
you're
agree.
right. She has amazing core values. She has an amazing personality. And I listened to her speak and give a presentation one time on hiring. And she had the most interesting way to write up job descriptions that I wanted to work for her too. Just if I read that job description, I was like, I want to work there. So I completely understand why you want to. And I am, just want to say congratulations that you did get to work with such an amazing group of women.
I know. Yeah, I thank you. I agree. It's an incredible team, and yeah, I feel blessed for sure.
Well, and they're very, very, very lucky to have you. So let's go ahead and start with what you were wanting to discuss, because I think you
Okay.
probably have a lot that you want to discuss there. And something that has impacted your level of success within your practice with Dr. Casmel is working with a third party outsourcing billing company. Um, so what advice do you have for people, for other dental billers out there that the doctors have either come to them and said, hey, this is something I'm thinking about, or they have seen it and thought, well, I'm not really sure what that would even entail, but that might be something that could really help me. What advice do you have? We'll dive into like some strategies in a minute, but just kind of what general advice and even your experience with dealing with a third party company.
So I love that question, and I do have lots of advice, kind of all across the board, but trying to sum it up, I would say, first of all, I have never seen an industry like the dental industry that has so many third-party companies, kind of like what you alluded to in the beginning, that just offer every service you can imagine. It's pretty incredible, but it can also be really overwhelming with, where do I start? How do I know if this company is good? If this company is going to do what they say?
Well,
And
a quick caveat to that is that it can also feel very threatening, right, to dental billers, and that's not really the case, or at least not the majority of the cases, and not for you either, from my understanding. So I'm sorry to interrupt. I
yeah,
just wanted
no,
to mention that
no,
because
you are fine.
I do know that, with there being so many jobs that can be outsourced, it kind of for dental billers feels like, well, what am I supposed to do? But
Yeah.
you're going to dive into that.
So I guess overall, I feel like, the overwhelmingness of how many companies are out there, and how do I know which one to go with, and should I go with one? Is it the right way to go? My advice would be 100% be open to it. I think you have to be smart about it, just like anything. Do your research on the companies. Set up meetings, with every company we've brought on, we have, whether it's a face-to-face meeting on Zoom, phone calls, you're basically interviewing that company. So I would, again, just do your due diligence, learn as much about them as you can. And then I think the most important thing is, who do you know, in your dental network, that is using that company. And that is, so many of the emails and the calls that I get personally, and things that are passed on to me. So many different offices, practice managers, debating bringing on a third party company. They're not sure where to start. So I would say, again, do that research, have the meetings, try if possible to connect with an actual office or person who's using that company. I'd say that is, the biggest thing, so you can get that real life kind of experience and how it's going for them. And so once you've done all of that, I get it, as far as, that threatening feeling, as being a person who, I did all of it. I help out for both of our offices, and there is just an immense amount of pride, and you have built up this kind of, it's your baby. I didn't want anyone taking it away and messing it up or making mistakes, because I had worked very hard, to create the systems that were in place at our offices. But I was also struggling so badly, just almost underwater, because I could not do it all myself, even though I wanted to. And I think I fought that for a long time, of just, I can do it all, but I couldn't. And, finally, we did bring on a company. We brought on eAssist to help me with billing. And, I started out really slow, which would also be something I would recommend. If you have somebody in your office, or if it is a practice manager, or if you have a specific biller, they probably have worked very hard to, get the office where they are, and don't just hand it all over, to a team that maybe you don't know anything about. I definitely, those first couple of months, there was a lot of proving, and just I was really checking everything and making sure that it was up to our standards and things like that. But yeah, I definitely by now, I have let, our eAssist team do everything that they can do. And what it has allowed me to accomplish, with our AR, at both of our offices is just incredible. I mean, I never could have done it without having the help that they've provided. And that's a whole nother thing I talk with a lot of offices about, is just the AR, strategy. But again, I haven't been able to do that without the help of, bringing on this third party team. So did that kind of answer?
Oh yeah, and I love what you said about, you tried for a long time to um, just do it all. And I think that a lot of dental billers and front desk administrators, office managers feel like that's their normal. That's just part of the job, is you're supposed to feel constantly overwhelmed and underwater, and like you can't get ahead, and not really like your job. Like we love dentistry, and um even though you say that you don't have as much experience as other people that have maybe been on the podcast, but it sucked you in, and you love it, and that's
I do.
dentistry has that pull.
Yeah.
And we may love dentistry and really hate our jobs, just because you feel like you're just treading water and you're not able to accomplish things. You can write things down on a list, and it just takes forever to cross them off because you have so many plates spinning. So
Well,
I think that was
yeah.
a really important thing to just acknowledge. I think that there's a lot of power in that for other dental billers to hear that, everybody is going through that. And that this is one solution. There's lots of others, but this is one possible solution to help you to be able to accomplish more in your day, because it's not bogging you down. But then, like you said, you do need to spend that time gaining that trust, and really integrating that third party company into your team.
Yeah, I agree. And I was going to just go back with, the AR, for example, when I came on to help with these practices, the 90-day was pretty high. And I have had these huge AR goals that I was wanting to reach. I believed I could reach them. Dr. Casmo believed I could reach them, but I could never get there. And it's like every day that you're out of time, you're out of time. And, I think for me, even though I was hesitant with bringing somebody on to, help me, and even how that maybe made me feel in the beginning, again, it was so reassuring just to see that once some things could be taken off my plate, that I could reach those goals, that I always knew that I could. So I think that's been one of the coolest things too, is just, just that reassurance, and just seeing, that you can focus where you want to put your focus. And it may be somewhere else for, a different office. But that's just it, to have some of it removed off of your plate by people that they are experts in this area. The two ladies I work with, they are hands down experts. They are awesome. I love them. We work completely as a team, and that was, with the strategy and systems, one of the biggest things I think is when you are just thinking about bringing on a company, is that you have to, from the beginning, just think about it as you are bringing on an extension of your team. You can't just bring on a company and nobody works with them, nobody is communicating with them. You have maybe somebody who checks in every week or two. That's not setting your office up for success. So But
or the third party team, they
yeah,
rely on that
uh-huh,
with being remote and outsourcing that.
yep,
Communication is huge. They are not there in the office next to you to be able to ask you a question. They rely on that communication. So that, yeah, that's huge. I love that you said that. And so let's just go ahead and dive right into some more strategies. So what other strategies do you have to be able to set both the outsourced company and the in-office dental team up for success and make sure that it's streamlined, it's
mhm.
efficient, and everybody is winning?
So, when I have talked with offices, I always say I think that it will this part of it will look a little different, office to office, just depending on I guess staffing and different positions per office. But overall, I think you 100% have to have, a point person, a person that is going to be working with this team daily. And who that person is, I mean, in my experience, that person should hands down be, the person who has been doing these duties in the office, the person who understands what the team is going to be doing. If you're bringing on somebody to just help you enter, all of your EFT payments because it just takes so much time and it's bogging down somebody in your office, whoever was doing the EFT should be the person who is the point, so that they actually can go and audit, they can go to the claims and make sure that the payments were posted correctly, versus somebody who doesn't understand the process. So, that would be, of course, it might be obvious, but that's my biggest advice would be somebody working with the team you're bringing on and somebody that understands everything you're doing. That's going to be the best way just for everybody to be accountable. And I just don't always think it goes that way. So that would be kind of my piece on that. And so for me, I have a team of 2 people, with eAssist. The same team actually helps with both of our offices, which if that ever, can happen for another office, I would highly recommend, because that's not how it was in the beginning. We actually did have separate teams. So having the same team kind of for multiple offices has been so helpful just to streamline. Um, but then, it's like, I guess I'll talk about the billing specifically because that's really, where we're having help. But I think getting systems in place that just help keep everybody accountable is so important. And, some of those things, for example, that I do, every month, I run our AR reports for the offices. They're broken up, of course, into the total, the 90-30 or 90-60-30. And then for me, I use a color coding system. And so how this comes into play is, if somebody pays, the column becomes green. If it's follow-up needed by me, it's yellow. Red for, accounts that probably are going to have to be either written off or final notice letters. And then purple are my outstanding insurance issues. So for any reason, I mean, the claim could be being appealed. It could be not on file. Any type of insurance issue on those AR reports gets colored purple. And when I do that, I'm always going to our software. We use Open Dental, and I am looking for the most recent eAssist follow-up. If it's been a month, I write that and I am reaching out to my team right away. Hey, what is going on? The last follow-up was from this date. But I love that. So for me, that's one way where I'm doing, because I am working on our AR daily, but so I'm constantly making sure that I have that really recent follow-up with our team. And honestly, by now it's not really an issue. I mean, maybe it's like 1 or 2 accounts a month, and for some reason it wasn't showing up on one of their reports, but then we get that fixed. But in the beginning, that was super important, so
Yeah,
it's just this constant back and forth.
because I think that a lot of dental billers and front office team members, insurance coordinators, treatment coordinators, anybody that, like you said, is normally in charge of insurance aging and posting. And
Yeah.
when they hand this off, sometimes they can feel like, oh, now somebody else is just going to do it and I don't need to put eyes on it at all or follow up at all. And that's not the way that it's intended to work. So,
Mhm.
like you said, it's intended basically your outsourcing team, you just gained assistance, right? And
Mhm.
they are
Yes.
doing all of the tedious things that bog you down every day.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you still need to keep those your eyes on those claims. You still need to keep your eyes on the payments and the patient's ledgers, because honestly, the more eyes on all of this, the better, right? To
Uh-huh.
hold
For
everybody
sure.
accountable, but then also we're all humans and we all make mistakes. So there may be a number inverted or something like that
Mhm.
that you would catch. Um,
Mhm.
but then also, like you said, just consistently following up. It
Mhm.
still takes less time to write that email saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
it's been a month since you followed up," than it is to actually jump on the phone with the insurance company and maybe stay on for
Oh,
45
hands
minutes.
down. Hands
Yeah.
down. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, but I agree with all of it. But yes, you cannot, and that is my biggest thing is you cannot bring on a company and just forget it, forget about them. All of these things, they all, play together. They all have the same end result. I mean, those insurance claims, those balances are on my AR reports. I want them taken care of just as much as, I mean, our eAssist team wants them taken care of as well. But that's been just one thing that I think has just been super helpful for seeing those outstanding insurance claims every month, making sure that they are being worked on. And again, we've kind of created the system, so by now there's really not issues. I mean, like I said, it's maybe one or two a month. Another thing that's been awesome, which our eAssist team brought this to me, we use Open Dental in our offices. So this really would just pertain to offices using Open Dental. But it's called a status history tracking feature that you can turn on the claims. So it is awesome because when we brought eAssist on, we were just doing our follow-up either kind of like in the remarks section of the claims, or we were adding ComLog notes. But it's just not super ideal. You're having to scroll through all these ComLog notes. And then for eAssist, the notes weren't showing up on their reports. So they were basically having to like input notes and then copy and paste into their reports. So we found this feature that you can turn on. It's literally a quick call to Open Dental that the reps turn on the feature for your offices. And so you can add all of your claim notes within the claim. It doesn't show up on the ledger, so patients don't need to see, this big, long, claim history of what's been going on. And then we just came up with a system where as soon as we enter a note, we do just write, see status history notes. So we know there are claim notes. But here's what's really cool that I'm finally getting to is those show up on all of, so like also on the first of the month, I'm going to run my outstanding insurance claims report. So all of those notes show up on that report. So I can go through like any claims over 60 days. Guess what? Like, again, by now they all have notes in them because eAssist has already started follow up on all of them. If by chance there's one that's blank that just got missed, again, right then and there, I can email and say, hey guys, what's going on with this patient? This claim's over, however days old. The other awesome thing is those notes actually show up on eAssist reports. So nobody's having to duplicate, data entry and things like that. So that's just another thing where, again, it all just, adds to helping keep everyone accountable, but at the same time being efficient, not having to duplicate work because that's the worst. You don't have to have separate reports. We've worked with companies in the past where there was this huge Excel spreadsheet that, oh, it was so tedious. You'd enter your notes into Open Dental and then you'd have to copy and put all the notes. That to me was just a big kind of, you don't want to waste people's time. You want to be more efficient and create more time. So anyway,
Right.
that would be another thing that has really helped.
Right. Absolutely. And um like you said, you're basically project managing the team, which is still a huge burden off of your plate of things. And now you can focus all the time that you were spending following up on these claims
Mhm.
on other things in the office, and showing your value to your doctor in different ways. And again, if you come across a claim that hasn't been touched, you don't pick up the phone and call the insurance, because then that's double work. Right. You have assistants that are doing that, right? Team members
Yep.
that are doing that. And you just maybe need a little reminder, like you said, it's just accountability. And they might do things for you as well, like, hey, we need this clinical note completed in order to send the claim, or we can't find this x-ray. It's just back and forth communication is super important, and transparency and holding everybody accountable on both ends.
Yeah. And with that, with what you just said, yes, and that's another thing I just wanted to mention is I do believe, with any third party company, I mean, you can kind of set, what works for your office. So, for example, eAssist actually can reach out directly to patients. Say, we get a follow up letter from Cigna and it's requesting something from the patient. Well, eAssist it's just something that they offer. They can reach out to the patient and request that information. Right now, our offices have chosen to not have them do that. We continue to reach out to our patients, which that's just what works for our office. And same with like the doctors, exactly what you just said. First level, claim was denied. We need additional notes from the doctor. Right now, exactly, our team lets me know. I send a task to the doctor. It's all super quick. It goes in the chart. They grab it. But, I do believe like they could reach out directly to the doctors. I mean, you're going to be able to set, the different levels of communication that work, which I love too. But yeah, it's just awesome. To me, it's just an extension of my billing department, and I just now have like 2 additional team members that are super knowledgeable. I mean, I learn from them all the time. So I love it, and it's been a truly incredible experience. At least, for me, I don't think it's just happened on a whim. Like I said, I think that there's been really intentional things that have happened and been done. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's been great.
So I'm sure dental billers are very curious to know. Like I said earlier in the podcast, it feels very much like, well, if you take all of this off of my plate, what do I do? What will my purpose in the office be at that point? Because it does kind of feel like our value is tied to doing the insurance billing processes, when really that is just a frame of mind that maybe needs to shift. Like, that is important for revenue cycle management, but in order to have the claims and to process, you need the patients, and you need to be answering the phone and to schedule and things like that. So for everyone that's curious, how has adding to your billing team, um, it's freed up your time, but how have you then spent the time that you were normally uh, spending on the phone with insurance
Yeah.
companies, and chasing down these payments?
Yeah. So I again am incredibly blessed. So I am truly just a biller. I am the lead biller and insurance coordinator for both of our offices. So I don't do really any front office. I don't do, treatment planning, scheduling, coordinating, anything like that, which I know many offices, these positions are wearing all the hats. And oh my goodness, just those people doing that. I mean, even our front office girls are just incredible. I'm always like, I could never do your job. And most of them say I could never do, my job. But which means we're in the right seats. So that's good. But for me specifically, Dr. Casmel had these huge AR goals. As I kind of mentioned, I came into the office. We have both of our offices, and it is one of our core values, but growth minded. So we are incredibly growth minded offices, and that starts with Dr. Casmel. So there's always lots of change. There's been mergers and acquisitions and, adding practices. And so there's lots of change, lots of growth. And I just, for years, would run out of time to get to AR. I knew and had been told over and over, that it's just something that it has to be consistently done. You can't just, send a statement once a month or once every 2 months and just hope these numbers like magically go down. So, I had really intentionally kind of talked with people, I had reached out to other offices. I had I've been lucky enough to go to some conventions and connect with, other billers and just really talk with people about their AR strategies. So I felt like I knew what I needed to do. I just never could do it until we brought eAssist on. So again, that's been one of those things where it has been 100% confirmed that the consistency with the AR is the most important thing. So now, because our insurance claim follow-up is being taken care of by eAssist, our, EFTs and checks are being entered by eAssist. I have time to, as I, mentioned, I now monthly on the 1st, I run our AR reports for the office. We do weekly accountability goals at our office. So mine, I have some that stay the same, where like the first 2 weeks, I get through the 90-day and 60-day for both offices, every single account. Every account is touched. And then the last 2 weeks is the 30-day. And then I usually try to make it through them all again. So, I mean, every account is being touched every month. And we are just utilizing all different, methods. I am mailing statements still for some patients that's kind of their request, emailing statements. We use Flex for texting. So we have really incorporated texting for balances. And also it's just kind of my strategy after I send a statement or two and I haven't heard back. Usually my next step is a text to the patient. We get so many payments in by text. It's just awesome. And just for example, I'm talking, 90-day AR percentages that were maybe like in the low 20s. And I have gotten one of our offices to under 2%, the other office to about 3%. So it's been pretty incredible what I have been able to accomplish. And in the years working, for these practices, I was never able to just get that consistency. And it was just so inconsistent. It would be a little bit of AR here and then no more time the rest of the month because you get sucked into, all the claim issues, the payment issues, even just entering. I mean, I was entering the EFTs and the checks and, it takes tons of time. So it's been a huge blessing. And again, I wouldn't change any of it. And I would highly recommend bringing on, a company to help you if you've done, all those steps we kind of talked about. For any offices that are debating it or thinking about it and you have a biller, can do these things, but there's just not enough time. I would hands down, recommend moving forward in that direction. So
Yeah, well, that's awesome. You made some fantastic points. So, so whether you're an insurance biller coordinator like Allison is, she just explained perfectly. And patient biller, just biller overall, she explained perfectly how her time is freed up to focus on the patient's outstanding revenue, but she still project manages the insurance claims and make sure that those are all touched, which I think is fabulous. But then if you are a dental biller, an office manager that, maybe your practice goals are to schedule to goal, and that's something that you just can't ever seem to get a great handle on because of patient statements and patient or insurance claims, excuse me, that's where these multiple third-party companies and multiple front desk administrative tasks that we were talking about that can be outsourced can come in handy. So you can determine the level based on your practice of how much time needs to be freed up for you in order to actually reach the goals that the doctor has set and has come to you and said, this is what I really want to focus on. So you can offload your insurance claims, you can offload patient statements, you can offload insurance verification. You can hand those to somebody like Allison said, that's an expert, and say, hey, please take care of this for me because I need to shift my focus over here because the doctor has said this is the goal. And so Dr. Casmel told you what the goal was and you worked to reach it. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, and sorry, and I just keep going on.
No,
but
keep going on.
with what you just talked about too, and just to say that, you are still in control in the office. I'm sure there are many more services that, my eAssist team could be doing. But, you just evaluate. You evaluate where their time is best spent, where your time is best spent. I will say for our offices, I create the claims for both offices each day still. I add the narratives. I make sure the correct codes are being billed out. I like to do that because I don't want to, just put it in their hands. And as you said, they're not in the office. They don't know the doctors. They don't necessarily maybe know the specific procedures that our offices would be doing. We have some local plans that require specific, codes be used. And so for me, that is a good use of my time because ensuring that the correct narratives are on, that the correct codes are being billed out before eAssist sends the claim off, that just saves everybody time because claims aren't coming back. We're not in 30 days getting a letter that they need additional information because a claim went without a narrative. So, and I know that eAssist can add the narratives. They can go into the chart notes and grab the narratives from the doctors. So that's just, again, something that has worked for our offices, but, an office may not have a designated biller. And I know eAssist can do it, but I have the time and I feel like it's worth and it's value for my time to do that. So I think it's important for people to remember that, you do still have control. You can set what is being done in the office and what the outsourced team is doing. You don't have to just have them do everything, or you can if you've set up a good way for them, for accountability and checking. So
Right. I love that. So you can determine your level of not only comfortability, but then also what is needed in order for you to be successful in your position. So you were not feeling like you were successful. And I think a lot of dental billers out there feel that way, that the doctor may set goals and come to them and say, this is what I want to see. And they just can't achieve it. And it's because they have all of this that they're carrying with them. So, but then also I love your teamwork, what you do. So like you said, you have the time for that. And if you're a dental biller that doesn't have the time to do that, no problem. Absolutely. You just communicate that with your outsourcing company. Like you said, eAssist can do that. They would be happy to do that. No problem. But I love that you love to do it. And it's just your way of helping with the revenue cycle management and helping your eAssist team to make sure those claims go out clean. And that's just the ultimate teamwork right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Well, thank you so much. I do like to usually end this podcast with just your one piece of crucial advice for all dental billers everywhere. So it does not have to be specifically related to the topic that we just discussed in depth. It can be anything, but if you're speaking to all dental billers everywhere across the nation, one nugget of wisdom that you want them to have.
Ooh, oh, Lordy.
I know I put you on
say,
the spot with this one. I'm sorry.
I know. I would say, you only know what you know, 100%. And, I can attest to that coming in brand new as a brand new biller in dental 3 years ago. But if there is something that you just, have a passion for, and I know we can kind of be an interesting crew as well, because a lot of us love numbers and love insurance, and people are like, did you just say you love insurance? You love numbers? Um, but I would say whatever you are passionate about, or if you want to kind of grow in an area, just, reach out, network, reach out to another office, ask your practice manager or your owner or your doctor, for a recommendation of another office. I mean, if you don't have that within your current office, somebody that, can mentor you, but I just think always be willing to learn more, use the resources that are available, connect with other offices. I am so grateful for the other, I've had these huge big billers, just help me and mentor me and teach me so many things. I'm online doing billing courses if I can. And, just be willing to, like I said, kind of be vulnerable. You only know what you know, but take advantage of networking and talking with other billers. Reach out. I'm happy to help people. I help other offices all the time. If there was something in this podcast that was helpful, or you have additional questions, I'm happy to talk with people and email with people. So I think networking, just connecting with other billers, doing what you're doing, because then we all get better and we all learn. So
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to give your email address out to everyone right away. So if you do have questions for Allison, email podcast@eassist.me and I will connect you with her. But yeah, that's super great that I am the same way, love to learn and grow. There are things that I have learned more, I feel like, in the last 5 years in the dental field than I did in the previous 8 years I was in the dental field. And that's all because of who I decided to surround myself with. And like you said, started networking and growing relationships with other dental billers. And just I've learned so much, you know? And so that's huge. I love, love, love that. So you only know what you know, but you can always know more. So
yes, love it. Love it.
Oh, well, thank you, Allison. I look forward to having you on the podcast again. I really have loved this conversation and appreciate you taking time out to speak with me.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. And it was my pleasure. It was so much fun. I agree to all of it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode. Click subscribe now to never miss an episode, and find us on Facebook to expand your network.